Okay, welcome to the Wednesday edition for real estate. I wanted to not miss another week. There's tons of stuff going on in real estate right now. We're growing really big. There's innovating in so many different ways and adding to the team. So we have events and some cool opportunities coming up. But I wanted to take this time to get people interested in or acclimated to basically how we were talking in the past about, how do I get into real estate? What do we do in terms of, thank you, Jason. Everybody throw a 777 if you guys are ready. You guys are fired up. If it's your first time, throw a 1. If it's your second or third, throw a 2 or a 3, depending on if you've been here a couple times. Awesome. So that way, I know we talked about it in the past. Like, how do you guys get into real estate? What should you be looking for? What are some of the things that, maybe you don't want, or what are some of the things that you should watch out for? So I thought it would be cool to kind of go through what we have in our team as joining and kind of like what we walk people through. And this is high level, but I thought it would be pretty helpful. So we could go over like how we bring people on our team. Okay. So jumping right into it. Can everybody see my screen okay, where it says join our team? Everybody see okay? Throw like a thumbs up, fire, anything you want. Yes. Okay, perfect. So I wanted to jump in and basically show you what we do, a little bit about our team. So that way, at least you can look in the areas that you guys are in and also see, sorry, I was trying to put this in like presenter mode and it's like kind of stuck on stupid here. There you go. Okay. So we're redoing a few of these things, but basically what we do is we have like one sheets that we give our clients. We have booklets that we train our agents on, whether they be buyers, sellers, people that are interested in investing, agents that are coming on the team, just making sure they have their best foot forward. So this is a little bit of our team, people that we have. We have a cool setup. We're actually updating a lot of this. So I wanted to give you guys this first revision or what we're looking at now. And then at some point, show you guys what we're doing as far as revisions. But this is more sorry, I'm just gonna throw a light on in here. Part of this training, I don't want to just give you guys the polished end version. I thought it would be cool to peel back some of the layers of the onion and show you what we do as we go through. So this is the stuff that we've kind of started with, and as we make advances and update, I want to bring you into that process of how we actually do it, right? So quite honestly, no matter what, if you're selling a house or bringing people into your business, your team, we just have a little introduction about our story that, Active Realty really began as like a boutique, more focused on luxury or sophistication in terms of the real estate environment, but also keeping it really simple and transparent. We've had something where, whether it's, I've talked about it in the past, like Google or Apple or like a Tesla type, we want to really keep it as simple as possible, focus on bringing the best product to market consistently over and over and over, focusing on the overall experience, and then driving up our value as much as possible, right? So if you make things complicated, we talked about it through AI, we talked about it through the process, you might, pat yourself on the back and say, hey, look at me, I made things complicated and I'm the only one that can figure it out. But what we've really learned as you progress, it becomes harder and harder to scale and then bring people into your environment because no one really wants it to be complicated, right? People want ease. They want ease of use. So we talk about our core. We talk about basically that we are a platform or a space where like-minded people can come in, like the group that we're in right now, and really learn from each other, help each other in terms of the strengths, maybe leaning into those and optimizing them as much as possible. So, we talked about today in one of our meetings, what's your 30 seconds that you get a client on the phone? And if you're really charismatic or, happy, or, you're a numbers person, or you're really excited about the area there, the client that you're calling back is interested in, or maybe they're a first-time home buyer, and you remember helping first-time home buyers or being one yourself, it's putting yourself in that position and maximizing that 30 seconds, right? So for us, it's always, trying to put each other in a group that's trying to build each other up as much as possible, but then also be realistic that you do need a balance of education. You do need to have platforms and set aside some time where you can actually work on your skill set, and you can actually have some devoted time to say, hey, the landscape is always changing. What are you doing, right? Individually, what are you doing as a group that's saying, hey, how am I continually staying connected to keep that momentum up, right? Because you don't keep that momentum up, everything seems a little bit harder, right? And then a lot of brokerages or teams in general, they're not really set up, to bring you consistent value. And what I mean by that, we'll get into it in a little bit, is could be lead flow, it could be opportunities, it could be up calls, it could be ancillary, escrows or help people need with showings, right? Open house opportunities. There's all kinds of things in general that I've seen, really sophisticated teams do a rigorous interview process. And then I've seen teams that are kind of like, hey, we'll take any and all newbie that comes in the door and we'll educate you, but you have to bring everything else. I think both of those are extremely hard for whatever given reason. We like to look at our brokerage like church, right? We like to say, hey, we don't expect you to be perfect. We expect you to show up. We expect you to come as you are, and we expect the rest of it to take over, right? So, we all know that we fall short in some way, right? We all know that we could use a little bit more work, but showing up is almost all of the battle. The rest of it is being consistent and working on it, right? So that core, we want to make sure people know, hey, this is like what we're about, right? Because not everybody wants to show up. Not everybody wants to do, what they feel might be their part. They might be an individual agent. They might be someone that, loves to roam free. And that's totally fine. That also fits in our system. We'll go over it in a little bit. But essentially, we're not reinventing the wheel. We know what our avatar is, and we know who we're looking for as an agent. So we're literally leaning into how we can match make each other. And then if it's not the right fit, it's always not the right fit. That's okay too. A lot of times, a lot of people in the industry, and you can, we never talk bad about anybody else. We want to make sure that they have other options, right? So going through best practices, and then also to end on this part, you have to know whatever your unique proposition is. So yes, it's a culmination probably of a little bit of all of those things, but it's also because, we do hold each other accountable and are a cohesive team. And so we work for a common goal, and we always want to make sure that our client is number one. We're not really, trophy driven. We're not really, I would say, all that competitive in terms of who's closing more units or making more phone calls. We're all about progression, right? So if someone's been in 10 years and has 1,000 clients versus someone in 10 months that has 100 clients, we want to make sure each one of those agents is as productive as what they should be in that realm. So the 10-year person might have a little bit easier time cultivating referral business, but they might not be all that aggressive to initial lead flow, right? So as we tenure our agent, maybe they throttle down those leads, and then the new person is throttling up those leads to build their business. So we're trying to take an approach uniquely to each agent. Everybody good so far? Any questions? Got anything for anybody tracking? Liking it? Throw in some fire in the chat. Any emoji will do. Or questions if you guys have any. Good, good. So, moving right along, love it, love it. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate you. So, also, once we do, we try to pivot pretty quickly. Like if you look at how we look in our marketing, it's crisp, it's clean. Our stuff is getting a little bit more edgy, just because I feel like with social media and I feel like with the influence online in general, things are getting a little bit more like fun. People are being a little bit more playful in this space. People kind of know what your personality is coming across in your marketing a lot more. And a lot of this stuff, when it was made, that wasn't really the case. Social media wasn't as dominant as it is today. So we're changing some of those things. But as you can see, it's like we really want to push the complete client experience, right? We want to make sure that it's a no-brainer that if you get a hold of a client, that it's for a long term, right? So that client, when you call, could just maybe want some information, right? Good example would be is, they're ready, they're the right buyer, they're just not right now. And so a lot of people might say, hey, it's a bad lead, they're not interested, they have to work on their credit, they have to get down payment. Interest rates are too high, they can't afford it, they want to wait a little bit, right? So those clients would still be good, viable clients for us. We would not pressure them. We would say, hey, let's get you into someone to look at your financial picture. We have a huge team that deals with our financing side. It is separate than our real estate partners that we have. We typically like to keep it where our real estate professionals are focusing on the real estate side, even though they have experience in finance. And then our financing people are really able to cross refer back to our real estate specialists. Because when you really get into the nitty gritty, they're completely different job and skill sets. If you've perfected them as a financial person, you're talking to underwriters, clearing conditions, getting the latest programs, floating pricing. You're talking to multiple real estate partners, not just one, right? If you're a real estate person, you have dozens, if not hundreds of people in your database that you're dripping on a daily or weekly basis. You're working inside of property detail alerts. You're working inside of the same thing, consequently, with down payment assistance programs, grant programs. There's so many things to keep up to date with the level of clients that you have. We've noticed that specialty on a bigger group really works to having a complete process, and people are working a lot more as a team. And so they can accomplish things a lot faster or at scale, right? We want to make sure that people are leading with education as much as possible. So we really try to make sure that they have a continued source for information, whether that be something, we don't want to like say, hey, check out this link. There's 50 guides that you can go check out. No one's really going to ever do that. We've actually have done that in the past. It's just more is more. So you want to give them something that's tailored to what they're actually looking for and get them on the right path. So a lot of things too is, we're always, in the trio of making sure, like if you can see at the front, our whole logo is fast, efficient, trusted. Our logo is our main slogan of what we do is helping people find the best places to form the brightest futures. So it's like people, places, futures. That's kind of our thing. And so what we do to continue that connection is we're big on tech, we're big on marketing, we're big on optimizing that entire process. So we constantly are trying new things. We're research and development consistently. We're on every major platform. We're utilizing it as much as possible. We're responsive. We're measured. We know what our KPIs, so we know what our key performance indicators, okay? So KPI, in any business, you want to know what your KPIs are. I don't care if you're selling popcorn. I don't care if you're selling hot dogs. It could be lemonade. Like if my kids get in the lemonade stand down the street, I'm going to say, how many lemons did you get? How many did you squeeze? How many glasses of lemonade did you make? How many customers did you have? Right? How many came to your booth? How many bought? How many referred? Right? You want to know at any scale. And I always tell people this, if you don't know it at a small scale, you're never going to know it at a big scale. And if you don't know it with one office, you're not going to know it with 3 offices. You're definitely going to not know it with 30 offices if you ever even get to that point, right? So by knowing what your actual value proposition is, regardless of the actual product or service that you're in, is huge, right? And your KPIs change. They change a lot. If people are really honest with themselves, there are a couple of KPIs that are really important. What's your cost for a lead or click or call? What's your conversion ratio? And what's your close ratio or your contact ratio? And what's your close ratio? So all the time you want to know and be upfront. Now you can play a little bit around if you know where your strengths lie and where you're playing in a market, and you just can't, teeter over one or the other. And right now, I think for us as a group or a business or a team, we've really doubled down on really diving deep into our businesses. So not spreading ourselves too thin across multiple platforms, but really saying, what are the platforms that have worked for us? What are the things that have driven production? What are things that have driven connection? What do our clients in a market where real estate right now is tough are continuing to see value to some degree, and we're driving those positions home, okay? So knowing your tech, knowing how you're evolving, knowing that you have a plan. And then the cool quote here, success is where preparation and opportunity meet. So really success is defined where people that are prepared actually get the success when they meet the opportunity. So that's a really well-known thing that we just threw in here, because as we continuously pursue and progress and are able to actually look at the analytics, why that's so important is real estate is because as a consumer or as a seller, you don't necessarily want to know how the wheel works. You want to know that the wheel spins, and you want to know that the wheel continues to spin. So if we can show you how many impressions we give you on your house, how much we continue to advertise, how much we continue to push, he who markets wins. That's just, it's a really cool thing that, I listened to this case study yesterday about Mr. Beast talking about Logan and Jake Paul of Prime. And Mr. Beast, he said something so cool. He goes, they're like, why chocolate? And he goes, well, it was easy. No one's innovated it for 50 years. Hershey's, Reese's, like whoever else, right? And no one's really changed anything. Everything's pretty much stayed the same. So he said, when I came to the space, it was really easy to bring a whole new demographic of young people, because young people aren't going to Hershey's chocolate bars, they've been the same. Young people aren't going to C's candy, right? They're old people go to them, right? So he goes, then the next thing they go, well, what did you do in the space? He's like, well, they use 9 ingredients. A lot of them are processed. A lot of them take away the nutrition. So the new people that are coming in, we want to make sure that we're bringing something new for them. And so we have 4 ingredients, and they're a lot more healthy and they're a lot less processed. And so essentially they're better for you, right? And so he went in and he goes, yeah, I think they've only been around for 2 years and they make $200 million a year. And they go, okay, well, what's your goal? Is there, can you be $1 billion company? He's all, oh, absolutely. Yeah, within a year, maybe 2, we'll be a multi-billion-dollar company. And he's all, even if we come out with products like Reese's peanut butter cups, right? And the list went on about how he was going to continue to go into the space. And it was intriguing because it's the same thing you're doing in any business, and the same thing that he went back with Prime. They said, who would have thought that people would be collecting bottles of Prime and people would be paying $5-6 for Prime at their schools of every, little school in America, right? And so all that goes into whatever it is that you're good at, whatever it is that your passion is. These guys are the best, right? These guys, everybody wants to be who these people are. And to a degree, they're an anomaly because they've leveraged a following that none of us would necessarily know. However, the success they have leaves tremendous ability for you to adapt and take that into whatever it is that you're doing and have a great amount of success. You know, the fact of the matter is you don't need $1 billion or hundreds of $1 millions to live. You need $1 million too, right? Like let's get to the $1 million marks, and then let's all scale from there, right? Because what you do well and you understand it, you can do it scale. Everybody good on that? Yes, exactly. For anybody who's, I think as we grow as a society, I was talking to this about one of our other trainings. If you know everything is becoming more expensive, right? And I think we can all agree across the board, consumables, gas, real estate, rent, just about anything. The only thing that's probably not becoming more expensive is like clothing, some consumer goods where the price has come down quite a bit, you know, maybe electronics, things like that. But even then, that's just leading to more consumption, right? Not necessarily like true wealth, right? And so I think we can all agree that if all of those staples of wealth, like real estate or the things that you do to live, like just about anything you do is going to be affected by gas prices, right? Delivery business, service business, logistics, everything is going to require you to move about, you know, the country either through electric bill or through gas. So knowing that, you know that you have to become more efficient. Your time is more valuable. The efficiency in the way that you actually go about conducting your business becomes a lot more notable. And the people that are able to actually do that efficiently are going to move up in scale with the rising costs. And then they're going to adapt and they're going to win. And the people that don't are going to have a more and more hard time to try to figure that out. So that's why all this is really important. And I wanted to continue to share it with you guys. So hopefully it's helping so far. So basically what you want to do is, and I talked about people, they also talked about in their YouTube channels, like if you don't know what your YouTube channel or you don't know what your benefit is, it's going to be really hard for you to convey value, right? So quite honestly, we put our advantages right in there. We want to be careful not to overpromise. You know, we don't want a lot of agents that come into our team that go, oh, you told me I was going to get this. You told me I was going to get that. We're really transparent in saying we want a certain amount of people. I get up at 5 a.m. I end my day at 9 p.m. Okay. Now, is that 100% work all day, every day? No, it's not. I try to be as efficient as possible with my time. I try to balance it as much as possible. I try to be available. I definitely structure that. And we're going to go over some of those things in later times. But what I want is someone that has a schedule that's going to say, hey, whether I have a family, whether I have another job, whether I have real estate's my one and only thing that I do with no other obligations, the person that I want, the person that's going to see what I do is going to do the same type of things that I do. As I've gotten older in the business, I don't shy away from that. If you want someone to tell you it's all rainbows and sunshine, the market's going to be great and your business is going to be handed to you, there's probably other brokerages out there for you. If someone's going to say, hey, I resonate with someone that tells me what I need to hear, consistently works their tail off and make sure that it's all about the team and everybody progressing, then you probably might have a great home here, right? So by being able to convey our marketing, our reviews, making sure that you're doing it yourself, making sure that if we get a good review, I want to throw you some love and throw it on our main platforms, right? So we have a bunch of closings this week, and I'm like, hey, throw it on the team profile, throw it on the team, right? Because I'm working in tandem with other people on that team, and they don't know me per se. They know one of our other teammates, right? Even though I'm in the process, someone else has been running point, you know? So we want to put that front and center where it's a team win, you know? Everybody good so far? I'm loving it. Keep the comments coming. If you guys do have any questions, I know it's a good amount of info. We're breezing through it. And hopefully we will get through it all. But this is just cool things that you guys can, you know, take into real estate. If you want to join teams, you know, we're a part of this amazing team at Real. that has a great network of people, and they're all, we're a bunch of, I don't want to say solopreneurs, but we're a bunch of, badass entrepreneurs that are all making it work and super cool. Everybody I've met in our main platform that we have, just like Jifu, is just amazing people. Like I just can't spend enough time with people inside of the actual systems. I love getting to know them. So, knowing that you have the templates that you need, knowing you can plug into high value resources, you have individual websites that we have, not only for our agents, but for their team and for property websites. So we're constantly making sure that, we're running our portfolio of homes just like you would expect. That's our product, right? So we want to make sure we're highlighting it, right? Along with our agent team. You want to make sure that you have support staff. Okay. So support has a lot of different phases or layers, right? Just like in Jifu, right? You have the support of the actual travel, you have the support of the vouchers, you have the support of the team and the income production and the back office, right? You have the actual growth and development. You have people that, like Calvin and everybody here in our platform that are driving the actual main people that are out building the businesses. There's so many layers that you want to make sure they're communicating, but also in the same overall vision. And so that's one thing that we try to do, and we align with on our side inside of these platforms, is making sure that there's support. So we look at it where we're like opening our Rolodex to not only our clients, but our agents, So it could be inspections, it could be termite, it could be contractors, right? We're trying to make sure that we're driving in as much value as possible, but also ease, right? Like, don't reinvent the wheel. Make sure that there's multiple things that you can get in terms of making sure you're learning at each one of those support processes. Emails, templates, drip campaigns, all the stuff that you would imagine we do, blogs and articles, right? I think we got into a little bit the drip campaigns and email blast with the AI thing that we did. Same thing with blogs and articles. It's really cool. You can take some time and do that, especially if you're in the business. Learning a little bit on a weekly basis, maybe even a daily basis, but definitely weekly, that you're tracking the market, what it's doing, what the projections are. It's a huge help because you can translate that to a lot of clients that are inside of the business, right? A lot of people that you're in contact with. And you can give them just different aspects, The CRM. So CRM, for what it is a contact management system. And your CRM is, in any business, you're going to have a CRM. I know, a lot of people have seen Salesforce or Oracle or some of these big, like stadiums that they have, like they're just the biggest CRMs on the planet. We use real estate geared CRMs. We use ones that are either drivers for cultivating and capturing more business, so more contacts, more impressions, getting out there and being seen. Or we use CRMs that we have that are our clients that we actually don't want to be bombarded. We want to keep them secure, private, insulated. We take our CRM very seriously. We want to make sure that a lot of people don't have just blatant access to it. That it's only the people that are running the admin out of it. We want to make sure that, as an example, if you have a personal deal in it, we're not retargeting that as a team the way we would do a lead that we are trying to hit in multiple angles and make a connection with. So we want to make sure there's barriers and people know that their information is safe with us. Okay. The culture in general, we hit on that. The environment in general, this is a daily thing. I've watched a lot of people, cycle through, and you always want to make sure you're paying attention to your culture and your environment, right? Things happen, situations come up. If you're not keyed into what you guys are there for. Some things are personal things that when it comes to management or the team, it's a personal thing. Some things are a team thing, and you want a culture and you want to drive in value. So you want to make sure that you have a strategy. You want to make sure that you've, had some experience and being in the business for over 15 years. There really isn't something I haven't seen as it comes to an agent or a team and that I've dealt with in multiple ways. Right. So, and then not only that too, but you want to listen, you want to hear everybody out, and you want to make sure that you're creating as much of a win-win as you can. This is a cool thing that we did that we're our brokerage, our brand. We have moving trucks, we do staging. I just bought another flip today. So that one we start working on next week. So that's exciting. Got the truck already set up to be able to start working on it, doing staging, stuff like that. These are some of the things that we try to drive into. This would be a typical agent. Now, this is a typical market. This market is when our units are a little bit more, maybe higher than they are today. So we try to be as transparent as possible because the price points are so high in Southern California now. It's driven the units down a little bit, right? So if your price points are, arguably double than what they've been in years past, then, you wouldn't expect your units are going to be so high because your affordability is down. So we want to be transparent where we're like, look, if you do the affordable price point, you're probably going to still be able to move units. But if you're doing a higher end price point, you probably are going to make a lot more money and you're going to do a little bit less units. So we basically let them know either way, percentage wise, we try to, an average agent in California per year closes 12 deals. Okay. And that's a California Association of Realtors statistic. We didn't make it up. It's a deal a month. So we try to drive our agents doing 2 to 4 deals per month if they're full-time. And that's a minimum requirement. It really is. We want our agents doing actually more than that. And so what has happened is when they get on a roll, they might close 6, 8, 10, 12. They might, depending on that agent, how long they've been around or what those deals did to close, they might deplete their pipeline and have to redo it. And some of them maybe forward thinking are like, hey, I just made a boatload of money. This is great. But what's next? And if they're like, hey, I got this deal, and this deal that we're writing offers. I spoke to one of my agents today. She's a rock star. It was her birthday. Shout out Michelle. And she goes, I just closed one. I got the check. I got another one in escrow. And I got another listing. And I'm like, yeah, because she knows I need product on the market that I'm driving people into, that I can do open houses and create more opportunity. I need escrows right now that foreseeably in 30 days, I'm going to be closing the deal and getting another one, plus the one that I just had, or the 2 or 3 that I just had, I closed those. So that's you. If agents that have seasoned in the business, it's not about what I've done right now. It's what I'm continuing to do. So it's not about what you've done. There's a cool saying that I have. It's like what you've done lately, right? So think of any sporting person, right? No one really cares. They're like, everybody following Colorado football and the Sanders, era. They're like, okay, you're 3-0. You guys almost lost. What are you going to do if you lose? Are you going to keep the momentum up? Are you guys going to stay on a win streak? Now everybody's like, what are you going to do from here? Right. And so now it's like, just, they want to continue to see you evolve. So we want to be open and honest with our people that you have support behind you that knows it's not a straight line to success. It's going to be something that goes like this, right? Up, down, down. And if you're one of those people that draw in an average, you're going to say, hey, instead of doing, 12 deals a year, which puts you right about here, you're going to drive up those 2 to 4 units and you're going to be in the $40-$50 closing range per year. So if you transition with us and you tenure with our team, you're going to be here just because the way your homes break down. So we do, on the other page, this is our breakdown of our homes, right? So this is like, this is the agent that they have a place for it here, and we'll go into that. But they're basically, hey, 5 to 15 homes. And a lot of people, quite honestly, they'll say, hey, I closed a bunch of deals. I'm like, all right, cool. Give me your MLS closings. Show me the ones that you closed, right? And either A, they've done it on a team, or B, they're a real McCoy, and they're like, hey, these are the amount of deals that I closed. Chances are they're not at this level. If they're at this level, they're most likely extremely happy whatever brokerage they're at, right? So we like to be upfront. We like to say, hey, we want you to do your own business. We need you to do your own business, right? We prefer that everybody would do their own business, but the reality is that it takes a ton of marketing. It takes people driving in consistent clientele to keep you relevant in the space. So we go over the pros and cons. We, want to take a very transparent approach that it's like, this is what we want, because let's just say the agent comes aboard and nothing changes. Well, it's going to be difficult for us if they're not in our systems or they're not showing up on a daily basis, right? Like, I don't know what person can think of sports, think of practice, think of anything. And if you're not showing up, and I don't care even if that's virtually at this point, in your computer, headset on, or in front of your computer, headset on, door closed, making sure you're focused. But at that point, you're so committed. Why wouldn't you be in a big office like what we have with a bunch of opportunity, right? So it begs the question that if you had up calls, or either one of these two cell phones ringing, or any one of these computers dinging with more opportunity, why wouldn't you want to be 15 feet from it, right? So we're really trying to be transparent with our setup and say, hey, the people that are around and available are going to be around for this. But a lot of people don't really require it. Their bar might not be that high. They say, hey, what's my goal? 100 grand a year, 200 grand a year. That might be your goal, right? Nothing wrong with that goal, right? Great goal, right? I think it's the average. If you have $10,000 paychecks and you're closing 12 a year, you're making 120 grand a year, right? Pretty easy. 10K a month. I think that's amazing. One of the reasons I got into real estate is because for the first time, I didn't have to clock in. I could work as much as I wanted to. So if things were going really good and scale was going really, the way that I wanted, and the market was going like exactly how I wanted, all these units were right here, right? Let's say there you go, not enough. See, that's how my mindset was. I'm like, man, if I can make 10,000 on one deal, why wouldn't I want to do 10 of them? Why wouldn't I want to have a pipeline of 10? And then if I could do 10, why wouldn't I invite my 10 closest friends in that I know that are like me, and then have them do 10, and then we chop that up, and then I'm doing my 10, they're doing their 10, and then we all are doing 100, right? And so on and so forth. So that scale has always been super appealing, and that's something that we've gone over. And we really want to make sure that, I think as I've gotten older in the business, it's less about control and it's more about value. Because if you know your value proposition from the very beginning and you can carry it all the way through, you never have to worry about what somebody else is doing. You never have to worry about what someone's going to take from you. You never have to worry about, you just got to make sure there's parameters in place where everybody has proper expectations and you're good to go, right? I want to make more to invite as many as we can do. Literally, yes, 100%. I love it. No, it's great. It's you can bring people in. I haven't even gotten to the revenue share models of our team. It's ridiculous. I don't even know, because I just started it, a few months back, and I think we already are approaching 100 people or so in our main team, and it's growing from here. But to be fully transparent, I have not put a focus on that at all. My focus is on quality, not quantity. In real estate right now, it's driving in quality and knowing you can do as much as you can do right now, but you can't manufacture motivation for a buyer or a seller in this market. Either they have it or they don't. And if they have it, it's up to you to hone it in, making sure that you're doing the best job possible and igniting it as much as humanly possible to create super clients that we've talked about, right? And then if people don't have that motivation, like I don't really need to manufacture that motivation for them, right? Like I can't make you want it. I can't make you want to get to that point to drive action. But if you're one of the people that do, I probably can't stop you, right? See the difference? I can be the same exact person, but the knowledge now is treasure versus someone going, oh, crap, there's JT again trying to motivate me. Oh, great. There goes Calvin again on the next meeting, growing his business. Right. In the end of the day, you're just like people that want it are going to go, oh, man, I love it. I got to jump on. Oh, I got to catch the replay. Oh, I got to support in this way. Oh, I got to share this with my next person. Right. So basically going in and saying, our team, the difference, we're going after one goal. Your success is my success. We're super big on sharing people's wins and staying out of drama, right? Real estate. Did anybody watch, like throw in the chat if you guys do it. Anybody watch Selling Sunset or any of those Netflix real estate shows? Or I don't know if HGTV does drama. I don't know if they do. But anybody watch that like for the drama? Yeah. Selling Tampa. Did they have drama in Selling Tampa? Because I don't think they're pretty dramatic, right? Okay, cool. Every once in a while. Yes. Okay. So drama is exciting. It's fun, but it does get into real estate just like anything else, right? There's egos. People make a ton of money. I mean, you can close one deal and make 100 grand plus, right? So the stuff that you do see is actually like pretty darn like real. And they probably ignite it, the cameras and, whatever else they do and cite it a little bit. But yeah, it's cutthroat. Yeah, it's competitive. But it's taken, let's say for me, years to establish some of the most cutthroat people I've had. They're actually really nice people. They're just, when it comes to their business, they're animals, right? They're really, really good. But I've worked alongside these people for so long that they continue to do their business. We continue to do our business. And we found a cool synergy over the years. So when it comes to showing or having a multi-million-dollar property or something that's luxury or something that might have 30 offers plus on it, if you don't have that relationship with them and, they think you're an a-hole or, they think your offers, you're going to say one thing and you're going to do another, you're not going to be able to actually work with them a lot, right? It might be a tough go at it. But if you're one of those people that can make bridges, out of as much things as possible and, exercise a little humility and know like, hey, it's not the right one, but you get transparency with your coworkers and the people that you get to work with alongside, regardless of whatever it is that their positions are. It actually makes it really cool because you can explain to your client what actually is going in. So as an example, you get a house that's listed at 499,000, right? It gets bid up to 550,000. And your client is maxed out at 525. Okay. And your client's like, no, you need to do a better job. I need it for 499. Actually, I'm going to offer 485. Okay. Either A, it's a coachable experience for your client. And you could say, look, hey, Mr. and Mrs., other agent, can you shoot me quick text? 50 offers in. Man, I appreciate you. So glad for submitting the offer, but offers are way above list, right? And I could screenshot that and I could send it to my buyer and say, look, you pay me to make sure you get the opportunity to get this house. It's up to you to take the action to get it, right? So I can put the car on the showroom. I can tell you how much the cost of the car is. I can give you the best financing available. And I can make it where if there's 5 other buyers, you can get the car over those buyers. And that's my job, right? But there's no way to say, hey, I can get this house for 550, it's 45. And if we continue to do that time and time again, guess who's wasting our time? All of us. I am, the other agent, all that other stuff. So the better you can get at relaying that value, And then sometimes you might be overpaying, right? So let's say, you run the comps and you go, man, this house isn't worth 550. So Mr. and Mrs. Client, I got to tell you, like, we got to go non-appraisal. We got to go non-contingent on an appraisal. You're basically going to blow whatever the amount is between what you think it's actually worth and the 550 you're paying. Are you in the position to just throw that money away to really get this house? And sometimes it's a yes. Sometimes that house might be so upgraded or so perfect for that couple or that family that it's worth it, especially if it's in an area that they can't find a replacement and they can afford it. That's what drives our market, right? It's market-based pricing. So the more that you're able to do that, the more it's going to lead to not feelings, because data and decision-making in terms of analytics drive the emotion and the feelings that drive the decision. So without the actual information, you're letting it up to emotion that is blind and not measurable. And if it's not measurable, that means you can't actually create any amount of consistency. And that means that if you have a feeling and I have a feeling and our feelings just don't matter or don't mesh, then we can't come to some sort of a resolution. So that's why by making it something that you can measure, you can say, hey, the measurement for you, I can say gas at $6 is absolutely insane. Does anybody agree with me? Anybody agree that gas at $6 in California is absolutely insane, right? And they're saying that it could go up to 7, right? But how many people are still filling up their cars? Right? All of us, right? It's crazy to me, right? Like I'm literally, I don't know, totally off topic, but have you seen the new Priuses? If you haven't, go Google them. They look awesome. I don't know how, but some of those new hybrids and electric vehicles, like I have like my gas car right now, I'm like, no, like you go up another $1, that shit is onto an electric car, 100%, right? So the pain of those gas prices are quickly catching up, right? So anyways, I want to end it there. Does anybody have any questions? Does anybody have anything? We'll go over the rest. There's another a couple of cool things that we can go over as far as that, and then we'll jump into the next thing. Any questions? Fire away. Boom. I want to ask you. Okay, yeah. Okay, so real estate investment trust. So I'm going to go in and we'll answer some of these questions. So a real estate investment trust. Okay, so I'm going to write it in RIET. Okay, so sorry, whoops. So a REIT is a real estate investment trust. And so a REIT is, there's all different shapes and sizes of REITs. You can have small ones. You can have people that are just putting like a group of a few people together. Okay. And that could be a really small investment trust, right? You can create an LLC for it. You could have a really big one that uses crowdfunding. You could have someone like Blackstone or BlackRock or some of the big guys that are out there, right? That, you could put $1 million and you'd be a little tiny drop in the bucket when it came to all of them. So I think with a investment trust, you just have to know who's running it. Okay. So if you look at like all of the real estate or investment fallout right now, I don't know if anybody saw the latest news today, but they're putting all these extra parameters in. People that are using accredited investment vehicles to go attract money. Okay. So I think in a down market where cost is rising and people are hemorrhaging cash, you have to be very careful with your investments. Okay. Because you don't want to be the person that's driving in capital to someone that's losing it. Okay. So if you know where your money's going to go, I'll give you an example right now, and I'll bring it up next time we go next Wednesday. So next Wednesday, same time. I don't want to get cut off. But basically what it is I provide my investor with a deed of trust. Okay. So I secure him on the property. I have a note that's drafted from our escrow. It includes the terms, it includes the payments, it includes any fees, okay? And he's completely secure. So if that investor were to pass away, I make sure I have it in my file, and anybody who's in his world gets paid back his investment. So his wife, his family, his mom, whoever it is, they're getting a call and going, hey, we have a secured investment paid back to his trust. Okay. The next one, hopefully that answers it. Boom, boom. Okay, there was another one here. Oh yeah, so type of market we're in 100% right now is a limited inventory market with rising interest rates. So everything is more expensive. Okay. When you see people smash and grabbing department stores, when you see people not being able to afford regular goods, when you see this kind of things happening in terms of like typical median affordability continuing to rise, it should throw everybody's feelers up, right? You should make sure that you have enough capital to survive and continue to invest, because right now, if things do take a turn, you want to make sure that you can, capitalize on it. What I think is going to continue to happen is more appreciation, a little bit more scarcity, people just getting used to, having to pay more. Knowing that the efficiency that you do is really going to matter. So knowing your avatar of your client, whoever you're trying to help, and right now, especially building your businesses, Jifu, everything, identifying your market movers, your people that are truly going to commit, even if right now they don't know a bunch of people, but they got what it takes. Invest in those people. So a lot of our agents, like, I don't care what you've done. It's what are you doing, right? Like, I love you what you've done, but this market's completely different, right? We're not resting on our accomplishments. We're like, what are we doing now? So I'm consistently prospecting, right? I have tons of people in my database. Do I need to prospect? Not necessarily, but you have to prospect, or you're just not going to be relevant in the coming, year. Let's see. Yes, you can wholesale a deal. So right now, the deal that I just bought has a wholesale going out to someone that doesn't have his license. Got his 1099. I got his wire information. Wholesale going out. He made 30 grand, right? On a wholesale deal, right? So glad to pay it. So he did that all without having a license. He just had the opportunity. Yep, 30 grand, one deal. The agent team, I think, is splitting like 40, double-ended it, and the wholesaler's making 30, right? And then the investor gross spread is like 125. They'll probably, I don't know, I think conservatively walk away with like 30, 40, maybe 50 if things go right, but it should be a quick project, so it shouldn't be too bad. So I can walk you through that once we get out that deal. Yes, so you can get foreclosures. Everybody calls them. I'll give you a quick example on that as we wrap. This investor that I got this deal from got dozens and dozens and dozens of people calling. We had already got the flip from before. So there's like an NOD, which is notice of default, right? You can have people there. Right now, we have a model, and I'll go into this once our model is set up, where we bring a cash offer to every single listing. We bring a equity unlock to give them the opportunity to unlock all of their equity in their property, buy something else, and then we go sell their house. And obviously, we represented them that want to purchase. And then we have finally the most profitable of the bunch, but the least flexible, is going on the market traditionally, right? So we bring that everything, and I'll go through that a little bit more. So yes, we can go through all of these things. I appreciate you guys' time. Thank you again. I want to be a little faster for you guys, but just great info. Appreciate everybody. Have a great week. We'll see you next Wednesday. Tell everybody if you need anything, send them the link, send them to the YouTube. They can watch the replay, and then we'll see you guys all next week. All right. God bless. Have a good one.